Here's more wrestling news for December 16th, 2022. And we're starting off with Braun Strowman, and after being released from WWE in June of last year, the Monster Among Men would co-found Control Your Narrative alongside his fellow WWE alum EC3. That promotion only had a handful of shows so far, and while Braun is now back in WWE, he hasn't left CYN entirely behind. During an interview with Shaquille Majuri, Braun spoke about Control Your Narrative and said that he still has ownership over the company. Strowman explained how CYN did not make much money, and the money it did make went to paying the roster, with the rest being invested back into the promotion. After Braun's return to WWE in September, EC3 announced that the company would be undergoing several changes and that a planned tour would have to be postponed. Since then, there's been no sign at all of Control Your Narrative returning, with many assuming the company is dead, but Strowman does at least own what's left of his and EC3's promotion. Last year, former superstar Tyler Rex came out as a transgender woman, and she had multiple operations to change her appearance. This week, Rex, real name Gabbi Tuft, gave an update on her situation, saying that it's been 6 days since her most recent surgery, which was completely worth it. Tuft explained that her most recent surgery was to tighten loose skin around her neck, which had become so painful for her, and that she's grateful to her doctor, who is making her feel confident again. Gabbi also thanked everyone who has supported her, saying that she's grateful for them too and love them all. The decision for Tuft to transition, especially in the face of hostility against transgender people, could not have been easy for the former WWE superstar, but it's a decision that has definitely been the right one for her. This week, it was confirmed that Sasha Banks has left WWE and that she will be free to work and wrestle wherever she wants come January 1st. We know that Banks will be at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, but some predict that her AEW debut will come just 1 week later. On the January 11th Dynamite, Saraya will team with a mystery partner to face Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, and Banks is being considered a favorite to fill that spot. Speaking to Forbes, Saraya was asked about Banks possibly being All Elite and didn't confirm or deny that she is. I feel like anytime there's a mystery, everyone always goes straight for Mercedes, Sasha Banks. They're like, straight away, it's her. There's plenty of women out there. I'm not going to say yes or no to anybody, but there's a lot of exciting prospects for a potential tag partner. Fans are well aware that it was Banks' kick in December 2017 that injured Saraya and cost the former Divas champion nearly 5 years of in-ring action. With Banks a free agent come January 1st and working with New Japan, who have a working relationship with AEW, it's entirely possible that she will be Saraya's partner, but we'll have to wait until the 11th to know for sure. We've got an update in the Mandy Rose situation as her time with WWE came to an end this week in shocking fashion. Given how well she'd been used since returning to NXT, fans were shocked to see her released, but one man made the call, and he's technically not in charge. According to sources, Vince McMahon insisted that Rose be released, despite Shawn Michaels and Bruce Pritchard advising an indefinite suspension. Vince, who is the majority shareholder of the company, spoke with Triple H and WWE chairwoman Stephanie McMahon, and the three agreed that she had to go. It's also reported that the fact that Rose was earning way more with her online content than with her WWE work also played a role in her firing. WWE's higher-ups may have been the ones to decide Rose had to be fired, but they didn't tell her face-to-face, instead informing her via phone. After Vince McMahon's retirement in July, many thought that this was the last we'd seen of him, but as the majority shareholder, the billionaire still has plenty of influence backstage. Earlier this week, it was reported that Vince McMahon regrets retiring and is seeking a comeback to WWE. McMahon believes that he was given bad advice in July when he made a shocking decision to retire, but there's not exactly many people lining up to support the former chairman. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that even allies of Vince McMahon don't want him to return, realizing that it wouldn't go well. I know allies of Vince who are very much allies of Vince and very protective of Vince who are not business allies of Vince right now because they know it would be the worst thing. They are very strong allies of Vince. People you would think are his allies, you don't know, because people are happier in the company, because the company is running better. People who are allies of Vince, they see the company now and they don't want him back. It was said that while Bruce Pritchard may still be on McMahon's side, that he's not exactly being vocal about it, and that everyone Meltzer's spoken to in WWE believes McMahon's return would be bad news. Since his retirement, WWE morale has been up, as have the viewing figures, and there's been a noticeable improvement in the weekly product. Fans thought they'd never see McMahon retire, and once he did, fans thought they'd never see him return. But right now, even those who made fortunes with Vince believe he should stay far away. Before retiring from in-ring competition earlier this year, Triple H would have a handful of matches a year, his final being as an impromptu opponent for Randy Orton in 2021. For Survivor Series 2017, the Game was part of Team Raw, winning alongside Braun Strowman, but the two teased a feud that night that never played out. According to Shaq Wrestling, Strowman was asked why this angle with the Game never played out and admitted that he hasn't got a clue. In all honesty, I have no idea, which is usually par for the case in most of the stuff that I do. I show up at work, they hand me a script, I go out there and I do the best that I possibly can, because at the end of the day, we all play a part. Due to Triple H's heart issues, we'll never get the chance to see a feud between himself and Strowman, but why this feud never happened in the years before his in-ring retirement remains a mystery. Now, with the Royal Rumble event just over a month away, there's a lot of talk about names who could return during the two Rumble matches. Many expect Cody Rhodes to appear during the men's Rumble match, but another former NWA World Champion could be joining him. Matt Cardona has been teasing on his social media that he will be in the men's Royal Rumble, but when asked directly by Chris Van Vliet, the former Broski refused to confirm or deny his Rumble status. Listen, I appreciate you asking me this, but here's the truth. Like, if I were to go back, I wouldn't reveal it here. And if I wasn't going back, I wouldn't reveal it here, because I want people talking. So the more they talk, the more people are talking about Matt Cardona, the better for me. I'm the internet champion, then, now, and forever, so let them talk. Since his April 2020 release, Cardona has completely transformed his career, going from lovable jobber Zack Ryder in WWE to one of the most popular heels on the indie scene. Cardona has said in the past that he'll definitely take a call from Triple H and at least discuss an offer to return, but we'll have to just wait until the Royal Rumble to know if he is returning. Over to AEW, as fans were amazed during this week's AEW Dynamite with the TV debut of Action Andretti and his win over Chris Jericho. Many fans assumed this would be little more than a squash match, but it was instead Andretti who came out on top, something Jericho has been planning for quite some time. While speaking on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Jericho has been wanting to work with Andretti for weeks now. The story behind this is that Action Andretti had a match on one of the streaming shows, Dark, against QT Marshall, and Chris Jericho was watching the match and decided at that moment, this guy's going to be a star. And so he decided that he was going to make him a star. This was way back. He had all this stuff to do, the Claudio feud, these other matches. This match on this date, this was not something where it was decided like yesterday. This was weeks and weeks and weeks ago. After the match, Tony Khan confirmed that Andretti is officially All Elite, and time will tell if he can keep his momentum going after this week's monumental victory. Since joining AEW, Sammy Guevara has become one of the brightest prospects in the company, with multiple championship reigns to his name. Guevara holds the record for the most AEW TNT championship reigns, but how many reigns he exactly has had is currently up for debate. Prior to last night's Rampage, the Spanish God was advertised as a 3-time TNT champion on Twitter, a statistic his wife Ty Melo took issue with. In a tweet of her own, Melo argued that Jon Moxley was taking on a 4-time TNT champion, referencing Guevara's interim AEW TNT title reign. After then-champion Cody Rhodes was diagnosed with COVID, Guevara won the interim title, which was later unified with Cody's title when the two competed in a ladder match. AEW has never shied away from using interim championships, which can make things difficult for title history. And do you think Guevara is a 3-time or 4-time TNT champion? One name signed by Tony Khan is Miro, but you wouldn't know it by his booking. Over the past 6 months, Miro has had a whopping 2 matches, both of which defeats, but he's not injured at all. Sitting down with the Muse TV network, Miro was asked about his hiatus from the ring and said that he's doing all he can to get a match on TV. Unfortunately, that strategy seemingly isn't working for him, as it's been over 3 months since fans saw him team with Darby Allin and Sting to win at AEW All Out. A former AEW TNT champion, many expected Miro to be a big name when he joined the promotion in 2020, but it's up to Tony Khan when exactly he gets another match. For weeks, Asuka has been teasing a change of character and a return to the more aggressive Kana persona that made her a huge star in Japan. On social media, Asuka has been sharing photos of her Kana days and ditched her traditional face paint this week, and now the former women's champion is back home. In a video on her YouTube channel, Asuka detailed her journey from Chicago to her native Japan and traveled from Tokyo to Osaka. Asuka explained that she returned to Osaka to find something she had forgot, and by the looks of it, it's very likely she meant her old ring gear and Kana face paint. It remains to be seen when Asuka will return to TV, as she tweeted this week that she'll be going on a trip for a while, but expect a much more serious, more aggressive Empress of Tomorrow when she comes back. And we're ending today with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's wrestled some of the biggest names of all time, but not every star got the chance to wrestle the Texas Rattlesnake. In 1996, mere months after Austin's debut, fellow WCW alum Marc Mero made his debut, but Austin never planned on feuding with the Wild Man. By 1998, the heel Miro had been feuding with his wife Sable, who had even bodyslammed the former Johnny B. Bad at one point, and while speaking to 10 Count, Mero explained how that greatly shaped his career. "I was made to really get Sable over, which was what we wanted to do, you know? But in essence, it also hurt me because for example, when she body slammed me, I was gonna go into a program with Steve Austin, and when Steve saw that, he was like, if this girl could beat up Wildman Marc Mero, what am I getting in the ring with him for? At that time, they were backing up the Brinks truck to our house, you know what I mean? We were a married couple, so whether she's getting over, I'm getting paid the same no matter what. But now, when her merchandise and all that kicks in, it really made a huge difference in so-and-so. At that time, you just go, I just want to do what's right for the family. And like I said, I look back with no regrets. And unfortunately, I didn't get to have my run with Steve like I thought would have been pretty cool, but I totally understand." Austin would have iconic matches with the likes of The Rock, Triple H, and as of this year, Kevin Owens. But we have to commend Mero to not be bitter about never getting a match with the Bionic Redneck. That's our news for today, guys. Please watch our previous video, 15 WWE wrestlers who passed away in 2022.